Mitsui to pay $90 million to settle claims resulting from the 2010 Gulf oil spill. We got Tom Fowler joining us from Dallas Bureau, and there he is right now to tell us about this. Who are they paying this to, and what is the settlement, and is this the end of it?
No, well, certainly it's the end of it more or less for Mitsui, but everybody else is still a long road here. The 90 million is being split up between about 20 million is going to buy land along the Gulf Coast for restoration, for environmental protection. The balance is going to pay for into an oil spill cleanup fund that the federal government's had for years that goes towards spills, cleanup, and damages. And also some of it's going to the specific Gulf Coast states to use, presumably for similar cost recoveries from the spill.
And this is just for them. This does not include any other of the other parties in the BP oil spill, the Deepwater Horizon accident that occurred in 2010. They are still sorting that out still, is that right?
That's right. This is just with Mitsui, which had a 10% stake in the well. BP, of course, they're the operator. They had a 65% stake. And then there's Anadarko Petroleum, which had 25. So really, it could start the ball rolling that you might see others start to settle with the government. But really, Mitsui was sort of the low-hanging fruit. They had the least amount of direct involvement in the well, and certainly were the lowest hanging fruit, the least complications. So it makes sense that they'd be the first to reach a settlement with the government.
And those pictures of those birds covered in oil still break my heart. And I incorrectly said Tom Fowler was in Dallas. He's in fact in Houston. And Tom, does this settlement provide the template for the likely forthcoming settlements from the other parties? Will it be all sort of the starting point be just proportion it up according to the ownership in the wells, or will there be something more sophisticated going on here?
That's hard to say. I mean, because Mitsui really, they didn't have any people on the rig. They didn't really make any decisions. They just had a simple, equity interest more or less in the rig. They didn't have anybody operating it. So presumably BP would have a lot more exposure, not just percentage-wise, but as an operator that actually made decisions about drilling operations, about the well itself, and that could be a lot more significant. I mean, the Clean Water Act violations are anywhere from $1,100 to $4,300 per barrel of oil spilled, which could make the fines anywhere from $5 billion to as much as $21 billion, depending on how you look at it. So I think it might be a little premature to simply do the math and extrapolate out to see how much BP is going to pay. I think there's going to be a lot more factors involved.
And Tom, the civil court trial that is coming up on February 27th, that's sort of somewhat narrow in its scope. That is just going to determine culpability, but other matters will be settled in later trials. Is that right?
That's right. This is and this is a trial before just a judge, so it's not as though there's a jury involved here. And it's possible this settlement could start the ball rolling, that you'd see other civil settlements follow. All the parties have been talking on and off for months now. Sort of the sense I was getting from people this week is that they had reached an impasse and everyone was going full speed ahead to trial. That could still happen, but there's a lot of motivation for people to want to settle, to not have all the dirty laundry aired yet again in open court.
Yeah, I bet there's a huge motivation there. Thank you very much, Tom Fowler of the Wall Street Journal down in Houston.
Hard to believe we've reached a two-year mark already.
It really is. I mean, the time flies. Time flies, doesn't it? It'd be good for everyone to put that behind them. Thank you very much, Tom Fowler of the Wall Street Journal.